Okay, and we are live. Thank you all who are joining us, who are going to be joining us, and those who are going to be watching the VOD. I am, as usual, the Teaman that is yet to change. Hello, Carlos. We see you in the chat. And with me today, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 guests to talk about this little topic, the topic of AI. Some of you may know my stance, and my stance is conflicted, to say the least. I mean, I made a whole video in which one of the things I said was we should limit AI, if not outright stop it, and yet here I am learning Stable Diffusion. So, I'm a little bit of a...
I think a few others are in that spot, unfortunately.
I prefer to think of it as conflicted as opposed to hypocritical. But I'm serving more as a moderator to this thing, where I'm going to be playing something of a... What's the word I'm looking for? An antagonist to every side. The main goal here is not to have a stupid little internet blood sport. I hope to have an actual good discussion, because this is something which I care about, I want to talk about. So, beginning from my left, we have Mr. Tank Theta, Tai Sensei Sama on the bottom left. Bottom right is Mr. Sparky, and to my right is TC Rogue. So going with that order, go ahead and give a brief introduction of who you are, what side you're on, and just a little bit, touching upon why you're here. Mr. Tank, go on ahead.
Okay, so I'm Tank Theta. I'm a game developer and mainly like an artist, right? Go ahead and animate shit, whatever. I'm here against AI. I feel very uncomfortable with it, but I'm also here because I'm in a little bit of a dilemma. I'm a little conflicted myself, right? So that's my position there.
Nice. Tai Sensei.
What's good? As the name, which you could probably read, implies, my name is Tai Sensei Sama. I'm a game developer and a voice actor. You can actually hear me in some things that I can't talk about yet and will come soon. But my stance is very simple. I'm against it in very, very specific instances. I feel like, the genie's out of the bottle. There just has to be ways that we can regulate it and make sure that it's not used to do something which is a problem we've seen with the automation of, let's say, the shopping the grocery stores, which is taking away jobs, and that's the main concern that I'm here to represent.
Okay, to my bottom right, Mr. Sparky.
I do mostly just AI music covers for fun. My stance is pro, but also understand the risks with using it. So, kind of a same stance. It needs to be done in moderation, stuff like that. So.
And finally, Mr. TC Rogue.
Where do I sit? Kind of in the middle. Been in the industry. And when I say industry, I'm talking about entertainment industry such as movies and that for Lionsgate for about a decade off and on in different areas. As for this entire endeavor of AI, I hate to break it to you, we've been inundated with AI since the 50s.
And so with that, Mr. TC Rogue, you said some things on the good old Twitter. I think it was yesterday when we made that post. You want to, I'll let you start off. Go more into what you mean by all that.
Well, the idea of the practical nature of AI gained tractions roughly about the late portions of the 1950s to the early portions of the 1960s. It was originally supposed to be for academic research environments. And so what they ended up doing, creating with the help of one Simon and Shaw, something called GPS. Not the GPS that you normally would see on your phone for map guidance and that. We're talking about something called General Problem Solver, which was used for a lot of kind of the questionable science that we have now, such as even black hole theory. We've also kind of expanded that idea even further into the commercial market, fitting automation, virtual assistants, healthcare, finance, customer service, transportation. Your NPC in gaming is technically an AI, as well as we're having it in content creation, which seems like where everybody's kind of focusing on and forgetting that we've already had it inundated to everything else that we've had for the course of our decades.
Okay, well, I think the discussion here is not have we had it? Well, we've had it this whole time. That is something I can absolutely agree with. There's no denying that. That's absolutely been used in the past. This isn't a new thing. Fine by me. The main concern that I'm bringing to the table is something that you've already mentioned: the automation of a lot of jobs in the marketplace. For example, factory jobs are often held up by machines now, when back in the day you'd have, and I'm making these numbers up, well, let's say 100 people working a factory line, and now you have a machine and then one guy making sure that the machines work. Again, those are made up numbers, but that's the general gist of the idea that I'm worried about AI. But the creative stance is definitely where I want to focus it on, mainly because the creative stance is the one that I guess that's the one that everyone's focusing on. Like, the conversation always ends up coming around to, hey, AI art is bad, AI voice generation is bad, blah, 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 blah. That's where everyone is right now. That's
I'd like to say something on that. Not only that, but like I think part of the reason people want to focus on the creative aspect that AI is involved with is because that's kind of a locked field of humanity, really. I think there's an arguable case you can make for that. People are feeling very uncomfortable with AI intruding onto the artistic field that really belong to people. Anyway, continue.
Oh yeah. Like I think, like I said earlier, the best thing to do is just make sure it's being used for, I think that customer service lines, for example, while I do understand that there could probably be a person there directing your call, there are customers that need to be helped. And so in a lot of those instances, it is probably fine to have an AI voice menu where it's like, hey, if you need help in this department, press this number. Hey, if you need help in this department, press this number. That's an automated system that I think is completely fine. However, I think that, say, for example, writers, since the writer's strike just got everything that they wanted, let's go.
They didn't get everything they wanted. I hate to break it to you.
They got basically everything they wanted.
They also allowed the fox in the hen house.
What's up?
They also allowed the fox in the hen house.
What
I mean is that through the course of the agreements, they allowed AI to actually exist within their world. Even though they may have a choice to actually utilize it, they're the ones that pretty much allowed it to exist in that world instead of outright getting rid of it.
How is that the case?
I can actually support that, unfortunately. It's actually been around for a while, right? A lot of games, for example, but we can also talk about films, actually already do use AI to generate some degree of model. That's part of the reason some of the models look like shit.
Right.
There's actually a lot of it around. It's why CGI is so prevalent, because most CGI uses generative tools, and these generative tools are governed by AI.
Yeah.
Straight up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a problem. I think that the thing that we were fighting for was AI fully replacing the writer's room, which
it will in about a decade's time. Don't get me wrong on that one. That's something that's going to happen. It's inevitability. The core issue is the industry, the studios are already invested with this AI to the highest level because they want to see maximum profit.
The strike agreements say that
the
AI
strike agreements
is...
mean, yeah, I know we're going back to the back to the table in about 3 years, give or take.
Well, if we end up doing that, then so be it. But right now, I'm talking about right now.
Oh,
right
I know.
Now,
So am I.
Yeah, right now.
So-
Well, you said in 3 years. I'm talking about right now at this exact moment. We are there are regulations happening, and I think that's completely fine. You've said that AI existed this entire time. I agree with you. I don't think AI is a bad thing inherently. I don't think using AI to, as Sparky said over here, make fun little vocal covers is a problem. There's nothing wrong with that. I think they're cute and adorable and rather fun. I think that there's nothing inherently wrong with those. I think the issue becomes when you're using AI. And again, this isn't a solid rule because this is a very gray area and you could argue the semantics all day. But the general gist of it is AI replacing jobs that should be done by a person.
All right, I'm gonna jump in as moderator here. Let's add a little bit more weight to this.
Sure.
So one of the things that is being said is the concept of using AI to replicate people's voices, either via
Yep.
singing. This when Mr. Sparky comes in, because he does the Pip and Pippa and Mr. Medicare AI stuff, which I do find fantastic. But there's also things like voice acting, like Mr. Tai Sensei Sama. So
Yeah.
going for the pro AI side, on the concept of taking somebody's voice who has already done, let's be specific so we don't get too muddy down into what ifs. Let's say Mr. Tai Sensei Sama was working for 2 seasons on a show, and for whatever reason he gets pissed off at them and decides, screw you guys, I quit. And the team behind the show for seasons 3, 4, 5, etc. decide, all right, we're going to use AI to replicate his voice to continue the character. How would you feel if the company did that?
I would not like that. I feel very uncomfortable with that.
I have a few different areas. One, contract. That's a big thing. Again,
I was gonna
Hollywood
say
thing.
contract.
If the contract stipulates, and again, it's in the fine print, you've got to be careful when you sign your contracts. If they have total control over that voice, which it doesn't matter on the voice actor, they have control of the voice. That means that they have control of the IP. This happens in even other areas of entertainment, such as Wrestle. Pro wrestling has another big, large thing when it comes down to contracts. Not everybody who goes into that organization keeps their name or their IP going out if they have bad terms. This has been an ongoing thing in all forms of entertainment.
I'll add 1-to-1. A good example is with Rogue One with General Talkin. They brought him back in AI form and computer generated. And that's all stipulated within the contracts. They were able to do that. Even they got permission from the families and stuff like that.
Correct.
I'm going to argue something here. Sorry to interrupt, but frankly, I despise modern contracting. I think modern contracting is abominable, right? It's kind of to a point where you can literally lose your name and lose the righthood to effectively your own creation. I think modern contracting shouldn't be what we're talking about here. We should be talking about kind of the moral aspect and then ramification of society here, because
we can argue the moral semantics all we want. There's going to be a divide with that. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's about dollars and cents.
Yeah,
I mean,
and also
I want to argue about the practicality too, because for me, right, I do have.
You can argue that it's fine, but
it
really doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
I think it does to some extent. I think there's an actual important aspect here, because what will happen in the future if we just allow things to go completely rampant? We're in an age where we get things really fucked up.
Let me break in here.
Go ahead,
quick.
Tyson. Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, as the actual subject of this question, I feel like there's something I still got to say here. I feel like, as Rogue rightfully mentioned, there would be something in the contract that says whether that's permitted or not. Would I like it? No. But if I signed the contract without realizing they were going to take my voice and use it that way, that's a bit cringe. However, I think that these contracts need to be better defined now that we have the technology to replicate voices pretty much flawlessly. I think that we need to define, hey, by the way, if you leave the show early, we will use your voice for this show and this show only, just letting you know. Now, if that is not updated and made very clear, the concern that a lot of voice actors have is that there will be a bank of AI generated voices that companies can just pull from rather than needing to hire voice actors. And that's kind of where I'm like, yeah, that's a little cringe. I think if you're like James Earl Jones and you sign off to have your voice replicated as Darth Vader for the rest of time, I mean, he knows what he did. He signed off to have his voice be replicated forever. That's his decision, and he made it, and I have to be happy with it. But I think that there is a problem we're seeing where a lot of voice actor websites, right? Like, let's say Casting Call Club as an example. It's not doing it, but websites like it are, where they're putting in their terms of service, hey, just letting you know, if you record anything on our website, we will put it in a voice bank and replicate it for AI. And considering that those websites are basically a voice actor's lifeblood when they're starting out, I'm not comfortable with that. I think that that is a problem and might actually if we follow the slippery slope fallacy, kill the entire freaking industry.
We've already stepped on that already with killing the industry.
Right. Well,
There's another thing really important here. You don't even need a bank to do this. One of my friends, right? He's the person who's trying to talk me into using AI voices for my fucking game. He is just able to find clips on YouTube and just put them into 11 Labs, and it does the job for him effectively.
Correct.
You don't need a bank. In fact, you can nearly perfectly replicate a voice just grabbing a couple of YouTube.
Let me break in here on this one.
Sure.
Because both me and Rogue have actually been we've been messing around with Medica's voice now for about what's it been 8 months now?
Almost a year. Yes.
Almost a year.
And I will quickly, real quick before you continue, I will state that Spotky has said that it's, even if it's flawless, it still takes many hours to get just a 3-minute song.
Yeah. Well, so that's Sans. Making Sans is a different program than 11 Labs. Unfortunately, 11 Labs, you cannot make a voice model scene. Now, I'll give 2 examples. I'll give one with my voice and 2 with Mr. Medica's voice. So we've pretty much been able to make 3 or 4 different iterations of Medica's voice. Chudbuds, a streaming voice, that's normal, like internet aristocrats, weatherman voice. Unfortunately, they're not the same voices. It's a combination of different clips and how you spell the words in 11 Labs. Unfortunately, we cannot fully replicate him. We cannot add like his laughs, his chuckles, the little endearisms he has. It's either got to be flat and monotone or somewhat all over the place, and there's little that we can do to control that. Now, let's use my voice for example. I've got a slight lisp and impediment whenever I speak. We have found out it doesn't matter what you do, you cannot replicate my voice in 11 Labs because it makes me sound like a Chad radio host.
It does.
So,
it does.
So there is uphills and downhills with this, and it's not. No one's gonna worry about voice acting being removed. I mean, can it be substituted? Yes, it can be. It can be substituted. Time out. Let me finish. It can be substituted. But you're never gonna get that full effect of emotion or anything like that.
Well, then allow me to rephrase my terminology and say, yes, I actually agree with you. It will never be replaced. It will be substituted. Let's use that terminology because I agree with that.
Go ahead.
Because, but the issue is that a lot of corporate companies or corporations that run said companies, they don't care if it can save them money. They will absolutely do it. For example, does anyone, there was a poster for Loki season 2 that had been revealed. Like, I don't know how long ago. I literally saw it on Twitter.
AI.
Yeah,
it was already done by AI. This is the reason I kind of make that argument. The studios have already tripled down on it. One biggest studio in the empire that is Disney, Bob Iger, has put out a pretty much a demand to have an entire team of AI engineers to craft an entire industry, not only within the movie industry, but we're talking about in their gaming industries that they want to probably cobble later, as well as in their parks and ride division. It's going to cover everything, advertisement, the works.
Yeah, so, that's specifically what we're fighting against.
This is,
and again, this is the biggest problem. When you have enough money going into the system, you as the ground person can fight all you want. You're never going to truly win.
I disagree.
We have a victory for now. Like I said,
there have been many times where, for example, a lot of big execs and whatnot put money into a lot of things, and they failed due to effectively consumer revolt. Right? You see this with Disney Plus. A great example there. I think if there's enough solid pushback, it can certainly influence it. It won't stop it entirely, and obviously I think with AI it's a bit hard to stop, to be quite frank, but I want to see pushback against it because there is a genuine concern about the creative craft that people are making being devoured by AI, being devoured by beings that can't even fucking think, let alone actually, create a craft. They just imitate.
I do have a point on that I want to bring up, and I can let people take it from here. So, one of the things which Actually, I did not cover this in the video I made, but I wanted to. Wait, no, I did. I just didn't use the terminology. Anyway, back to the plot. I view algorithms as something of a predecessor to AI in terms of seeing absolute dog shit. Being more specific, let's go with, let's say, music. They have been using algorithms to figure out what people like and all the beats and whatnots. The millennial woe, in which most of the popular songs will have some kind of a whoa attached to it. Think of like Justin Bieber's Baby, 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 oh. So, like,
Why did you remind me that existed? Why did you remind me of that?
Because it's like a prime example of that whoa.
I can make AI covers of Justin Bieber for you.
Oh god,
And so they use the algorithm to go towards the lowest common denominator of people, the filthy normies and the plebs.
Yes,
they already began to do stuff like that. Yeah, and so I feared the idea of to be pretentious, higher art is going to start fading away more and more and more because there's just not going to be any money in it. Everyone's going to just spend it towards the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, and you know what? We see that already. Let's take a prime example of the movie that I think is just complete horse donkey crap, and for some reason is doing well. The Mario movie. That movie was made using these exact algorithms to figure out, hey, I guess the audiences really like insert songs. What if we played Aha's Take on Me while they're driving the Donkey Kong cart? That sounds like a great idea.
I did cringe at that part when I've seen that movie.
Hey,
I'm like, why?
What if we had Bowser sing? Bowser's gonna sing a song. This is certainly a scene that will go on Twitter and people will repost about it. And you did. It's that to me, like, Illumination just as a studio represents exactly that fear. The idea that high art, as I will also be calling it, will just be replaced by lowest common denominator garbage. And I think that AI is a very similar fear. I feel like if you use AI to what it'll do is it'll use the algorithms, just as Hamdrew Ryan had said, it's just algorithms at the moment, but it'll use those algorithms to spit out like the most boring schlock cookie cutter Marvel movie scripts you've ever seen in your life. And that is a genuine concern.
I will say very easily. We've actually played.
I think no. Okay,
pause.
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's go with the TC Rogue first, and then Tank Third will follow right after.
Cool.
So, Ty, I can actually argue that one. You remember the Dial of Destiny that came out?
Yes, I can.
No.
That was done and crafted by a handful of writers that were socially woke. Now, I took the same idea or the premise with characters in that, and I put it into an AI, ChatGPT, and asked it to give me a synopsis or a treatment for a story. And it gave me something better than the Dial of Destiny, while respecting the actual franchise.
So you have just stated a bunch of very subjective things that I don't think we're going to go into because this is an entirely different talk. That movie did suck, but yes, because there was a giant army of producers up there who made it suck.
All right, Tank, you had a point that you wanted to make?
Okay, yeah. So, I guess with this, this is kind of where I wanted to get into now. There is a deficit in quality. Like, okay, you see Takama here, or like anyone else, right? All of here. Like, I mean, there can be people unhappy with the quality content that's been pumped out, right? AI pumping that out won't really change that. But part of the reason AI can replace a lot of its shit is because it's shit already. There's not really like any quality to any of this shit that we're actually engaging with. There is a massive demand for higher quality work already. And people screaming for it, right? It would make heaps of money if it was publicly out there and publicly put to the audience. I think it would do a lot better than what we're eating right now, all the shit we're eating right now. So I disagree with you on that, Ty. I think that right now, AI won't replace high quality art. That's not really the argument here. It's more about, or not replace, but disincentivize it. The worry is more about the fact that it will stop people from getting to that point to begin with through, how do I put it? through not being given opportunities for people
Well,
to
yeah,
actually
that's-
better themselves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is the idea
Oh,
that
yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much what I was arguing. No, you're fine. It is something that I do want to make entirely known. I feel like this is a part of the conversation we should acknowledge. But Teaman, please, because I'm very bad at tangents, please pull me back into the topic if I go off topic. I'm very bad with tangents. But I feel like what I'm about to say is something worth discussing, and we talked about it in our last discussion.
All right, if I bring this up, it means pause.
You got it. The idea that there's an argument going around, and I don't think anyone here shares that sentiment, but that AI replacing writers is fine because the crap that writers were putting out was bad anyway. To that, I would like to bring up the fact that an argument that I brought up to Teaman, which is
pause real quick. For you guys, are you guys in favor of what he said, that AI replacing writers is good because they suck, woke, etc.?
I'm going to say it's not good. However, it makes the case a lot harder to defend when the quality's so shit.
Right, TC Rogue and Sparky?
Well, I mean, it depends, because you can, like what Rogue says, is you can make something with AI better, but you can also make it worse. It's a 50-50 with it. Like I said, I ended up making a medical bot. We wrote up a program to put in ChatGPT to simulate him and mimic him, actually basically just role play him. And it does a good job, but it's not perfect. It'll never be perfect. Because again, you cannot capture 100% it's him. So can we mimic it? Yes. Can we get a story that's let's say the 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie? Anyone remember that one?
oh,
2000
God.
93.
Thanks for reminding me of that one too.
How much you want to bet you could put that into AI and make it better? You probably can't. You can also probably make it worse. It just depends on what you give it. A lot of people misunderstand, and I've seen some of the comments in the chat, and it's like for example, just one slight tangent for me. It's like giving artwork to an AI to stealing people's artworks. Well, artists kind of do the same thing at the same time. Give an example. If an artist doesn't know what a car looks like, what they gotta do? They gotta look at references of what a car looks like to draw it. Same thing with an AI.
That's no, it's not the same.
Yeah,
Well-
I will push back on
sorry.
that one. But I'm moderator, so one of you guys go first.
Well, I also have to get back to my point as well at some point.
Yeah, all right.
That's
No,
like
you're
me.
right.
Point.
Yeah, Tai Sensei Sama, go on ahead.
Okay. So the problem with the "they suck lol" argument is actually the exact argument that was brought up involving algorithms. Often what will happen is there will be an idea for a good movie, and then the producers will walk in and go, no, we can't get to general audiences that way. We can't get butts in the seat if we make a good movie. You have to make it suck. The best example would be the Lion King remake from 2019. That movie is terrible. The character designs do not have emotion to them. But they were handed, as was shown by the initial character designer, expressive, impressive-looking character designs for the live-action Lion King movie, but instead they were like, no, we have to make it look realistic so we can insist it's live-action and not just an animated movie. That's the non-political example that I'm going to give. There are several political examples I can give. For example, why don't we just make Ariel black for no reason, because that will simply help that will make the lefties happy. Even as a progressive myself, I thought that was cringe. It didn't really have it's not actually doing it to empower black lives. It's using black lives to get butts in the seats. And I think that's cringe and stupid as well. So I would argue that the issue with writing these days isn't exactly the fact that the writers just inherently suck. There are a lot of examples of movies being better before the producer stepped in and said, no, you can't make the movie that way. It won't sell tickets.
There's also
the two though, if I'm going to be honest.
What's up?
Anyway,
That's a lot. To
Well, no, there are
dissect
such things. I'm not saying there are no bad writers. Bad writers do exist. They
But
are
there's-
real.
it goes
Like a
more
lot
into
of them,
just
though. Anyway,
it goes more into writing. It also goes into visuals. I mean, let's go back to the Sonic movie. You
Yeah.
know, who's seen the first trailer of that cringe
Oh yeah.
Sonic character?
Yep.
Uh,
And I can tell
You
you,
got
no
Teaman.
animator alive would have looked at that and gone, "Yeah, we should ship this." I guarantee you, someone up there was like, "No, it's not realistic enough."
Yeah.
I agree
guarantee it
there.
was the
I agree
producers.
there. They
So,
definitely.
have any of you heard something called art by committee?
Yep. Of course.
I have not.
No, I have.
define it.
So basically, in behind the scenes of Hollywood, when you get further into it, everything is done through a committee. When you have the actual producers, they really don't care about what the actual final product is. All they care is how much money they can actually reap out of their entire reward, and who they're actually supposed to select for their kiddie pool of actors, and that's it. It comes back down to a different level of issues. So when they have the actual screen testings, they get a small handful of people in a certain region that they believe are their target demographic. And realistically, they're just a bunch of nobodies in a mall for the most part to see a little clip of a movie. And then they're asked a few different things, whether they liked it, what things that they didn't like, and they kind of go from there. So if you have a let's say an entire room of say 12 individuals that are socially woke, they're going to change and steer the direction of the entire movie just on the basis of their ideas. It's happened before.
I mean, I was going to mention it. These 12 losers in their basement. Most of the committees actually overlap heavily. You can look at how a lot of these people, nepotism is a very key word here. Nepotism is everywhere, and a lot of these committees are shared between different movies in order to make informed decisions, not only to the movie, but to the executives and even the major business owners themselves. But yeah, that's about what I'm going to say on that. Hang on, that music is really loud. You turn that music down a little bit?
Oh, the music? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah. There we go. But something I want to argue is less about like the larger industry, because obviously a larger industry is going to be shaped and forwarded by, you know, the big companies, and big companies are just going to try and do whatever they want, right? Whether or not it fails or not. I actually want to talk more about independent creations on the small scale, right?
Oh,
And
this is
developers.
fun.
Well, yeah, because like, you know, I think this is kind of the field that it's the reason I came here today, right? Because there are a lot of indie developers in particular, and even like quite a few friends and whatnot, who want to use AI as a tool to develop out like games and other creations that they want to make, right? And that's where I get the most worried. Because fuck the big industry, but when indie developers start doing that and indie creators start doing that, even for their comics or whatever, that's a big concern. And it's very concerning when there's a thought in my head, at the back of my head, that maybe it's not the worst idea ever, right? Say for example, right? I've got my game. My game, Melee Gal, right? I have been trying to like look around for voice actors that are going to be reasonable for the game. And I'm not asking for a high bar, but there's not really a good supply for the demand, right? Unfortunately, you're a man there, so I can't hire you immediately. Maybe I can hire you for some, you know?
Listen to my voice, it sucks.
But here's the thing, right? I've talked about this on the server, but I really want to get into this properly now. It's either two things. One, either the voice actors are just not good enough, which is a serious fucking problem. It is a massive problem. Most voice actors are shit, right?
Yes.
Most voice actors in the indie field are dog shit, and they cannot do the job effectively. They either ham it up, or they are incapable, or they have some serious... They have a lack of training, in particular. It's really notable. It's not like the voice acting, say, the 90s, like, you know, the 90s and the 2000s, where you had real good voice actors for games. I mean, look at Castlevania, for example, right?
Mega Man X4 and Mega Man 8.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Hey, 584!
We don't have voice actors like that anymore, right? We
And that's because most people don't want to get into that level of industry. As well as when they do, they think they're going to get the big bucks right away.
Yeah, that's true. That's part of it. But I think the other part of it is that, like, I think they're being trained wrong. I genuinely think they're being trained wrong, and they're being told prices that are completely unviable for an indie developer like me, right?
Yeah,
I
no,
want to-
I get your argument. It comes back down to education in general. This is the same thing that happened with the
Oh, yeah.
Writers Guild
Ooh,
or the writers in
Uh,
general. Everybody's being trained in one way, and it
Mhm.
just kind of doesn't work for anybody in the future.
all right.
True.
This is not video game specific, but it is quite relevant. Let's pick a recent example: the indie anime that made stop motion Scooby Doo versus.
I was
Springtrap.
hoping someone would
I-
mention that.
I
I
don't
was
know
waiting
that.
for someone
I
to
don't know
mention
about
that. I was
First-
waiting
first-
for that.
First, does anybody not know what we're referring to?
I don't know. I don't actually know.
Ty, explain it because you probably know it better than
Okay.
me.
Yeah, no, I was actually right there in the front lines when it happened. I know exactly what's going
Okay,
down.
good.
So the Scooby-Doo there was a animation made by a very small, like a 16-year-old, like a kid,
Mhm.
right? I'm pretty sure he was 16. I don't remember his age, but he was very young. And he made an animation of the Scooby-Doo gang going against Springtrap. I never watched the video personally. I've been meaning to, but I have terrible ADHD. So I've not been doing that. But the video was apparently like a cute little animation about Shaggy and Scooby running into Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's. You know, it's a little fan project. And the person in question used AI to replicate the voices. Now, there were 3 responses to this, and only one of them was correct. And I will say the correct one for last. Response number 1. You freaking idiot, we're all going to hunt you down and murder you for daring to use AI in
God.
your cute little fan project,
Mhm.
which every single voice actor I know rose up against those people. Were like, can you shut up and stop making us look bad, please? For the love of God.
Yeah.
Could you
Uh,
please shut up?
Congrats on that one.
Am I
Congrats on that.
misremembering, or was Daphne's voice actress on that level? Or am
I
misremembering?
don't remember Daphne's voice
Daphne's
actress ever being
actress
involved.
was pretty close to that level.
Oh
Whoa.
no, yeah, it was Daphne, wasn't it?
I believe
which
it was
one?
Holy
Daphne.
shit.
Either that or Stella. I
Holy
couldn't remember
shit.
exactly which. But
Yeah.
it was one of the
I'm
females.
almost positive it was Daphne's voice actress who was really pissed off and made. Yeah, it was definitely Daphne's voice actress who said something along the lines of, "I'm gonna make sure you never work in this industry
work in
again."
Hollywood again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or ever. Would never, yeah.
Like I said, very very poor reaction
know.
on that end.
Gatekeeping.
Number 2 was number 2 was the response that I've basically just ignored, which is stupid self-entitled voice actors, and then the third one was the reasonable one, which is, hey dude, we understand why you use AI, but there are plenty of voice actors who would love to help with your project for free. And then a bunch of them dropped their demos, and he found a very good voice actor for all the roles, and he remade the video. Which is, you know what? That's the good ending. That's the happy good ending.
Well,
He
in
found
order for
good-
you to get that,
I can-
for you to get that happy ending, you had to have had this entire treatment. Unfortunately,
Well, no, I agree with you that that's a problem. So what we need are the following, right? So the good ending was 3 things. 1, he learned to not use AI when he has access to voice actors. But 2, he got access to good voice actors. There's the 2 things there. And getting access to good voice actors, unfortunately, is the same way that you get access to being a voice actor, which is networking, which is not something that a small indie creator is able to do very often. And so I think
there are plenty of. There's actually a massive network of indie developers all over the place, right? Like most people don't talk about it because it looks bad if all the developers are connecting with each other to people start raising questions. There's a massive network, but you can easily get barred from them. And I find that that's a little bit of a risk I have here, where I can get barred from quite a few because I'm quite conservative, to say the least, right? I don't think if they knew even a couple of my opinions, I'd be barred from like half of them, straight up.
Well, it also
Yeah.
comes like this too. Networking, yes, it's a good thing, but I was a nobody on YouTube that nobody knew about. And I've talked about it plenty of times on live streams that we're gonna do this thing with Medica. We're gonna turn him into a bot. Blind eye until I made Medica and Pippa sing a duet, and then all of a sudden, everything. Which actually kind of comes down to what you were saying about. I think that kind of comes down to ethics. So I have a set of rules I follow whenever I go through and do AI voices. So I don't use a voice of someone unless they're not okay with it. So if they're not okay with it, I don't use it. If they don't care, they don't mind, I'll use it. Medicus already gave extensive permission way a long time ago to clip his voice up, make something, do anything with it, like with I can't remember. MC Jarbo and a couple other ones. They clip up the voices and make them say stuff like that. So Medicus already gave express permission to use his voice a long time ago. Pippa loves AI covers, so she was inherently okay with it. I'm not going to make any of these people say something that they're usually not going to say. So those are my usual hard stops. Like, I've got a lot of people wanting me to do duets with Pippa and Corliss. If nobody knows who Corliss is, he's one of the members of, I believe, team. I don't remember what Pokemon game it was. But they want me to use Corliss's voice and make her and him saying duet. And it's like, guys, he's a voice actor. That kind of goes against the grain of, that's something that he could do. That's something he could probably see and anything like that, and he uses his voice for money. So in good conscience, I can't take his voice, even though it's just putting on a song cover. I can't, in good conscience, do that because I have a set of standards I go by whenever I make these AI covers.
Yep.
I've also had people come at me and like, well, you're stealing music from artists that have done music. It's like, guys, people do karaoke's all the time. And covers have
always been a thing, yeah.
Yeah, covers have always been a thing. Now, I'm using somebody else's voice as the template for the voicing of it, but usually, who has listened to a couple AI covers? Not mine, in general. Okay, duets. Absolutely. How good did the duet sound?
Barely.
Does anyone know why that is?
No, actually, I have no clue.
So in the program RVC, when you pull the voices, it uses AI to generate a vocal track and a music track. Usually when you have a duet, you have two voices. Usually at points in the song, the duets, the dominant voice, which is usually the male voice, will overpower the female voice. So whenever it separates out those voices, it destroys the female voice. And it'll leave artifacting in with the actual male voice. So I'll give an example for both. Yes. So the example I'll give is both for A Whole New World and Beauty and the Beast. Those are compilations of 5 different songs put together. An instrumental track, a karaoke male track only, and a karaoke female track only. So basically you found songs of people singing just a male part, no female part behind it, and singing the female part with no male part behind it. Applying the AI voices onto the voices I need, and then assembling it in a video editor is basically what I've done, which is a lot of legwork. A lot of people just stick the song in, rip the voices out, put the AI voice in, put it back together and ship it out. And they sound like garbage. They sound like shit. But the way I do it, it takes a long time to make them. And like I said, I usually have standards whenever I go by and do stuff. So I agree with all these standpoints.
And hey, I have no issue with if that's how you run your operation. I have no problem with that. That's not an issue at all. Like I said, that's as long you have standards, that's good, that's awesome. And I think as long as if those standards are, I guess, more socially accepted, then I don't see an issue with that. I think that here's another example. There was a Yu-Gi-Oh YouTuber who very recently got sick and had to put a video out. So he made an AI generation program of his own voice. Now, somehow people got mad at that.
I don't know why.
I can see why people would get mad at that, to be honest.
I don't. But why would you get
I'm not going to get mad at it, but I can see the uncomfortable with it. Because
I don't. It's his own voice. He can do whatever he wants with it.
Right? Even making a video is a craft. So imagine, like, okay, for example, you're a sculptor, right? And you're like, oh, I'm going to sculpt out the statue, right? And then, I don't know, next time around, you're like, oh, I'm having a sick day. I'm just going to get, like, this machine to print out my statue.
Well, no, but it's not like he still had to write the script. He still had to
do
edit the video. He just couldn't record his own voice.
It is the same thing.
I do that. Yeah, but Okay, I do that exactly for the AI manager when I have them do the little talky bit. I have to script out everything. I have to make sure it sounds good. I've got to go through the whole problem of video editing and then add in what I feel that could be background or whatever that I want to put in for that portion of visual. It's still a lot of legwork. The only difference is now I'm utilizing an AI voice actor that simulates Medicare as best as I can. We have other people that are considered clip artists, and they take recorded versions and snip them up to create a new material. It's still a form of art. It's just using the tools that are given to us in different ways.
I would argue clipping is very different from writing out a script, but I'm going to say that if you want to apply, say for example, using your own voice in order to like effectively generate AI, that can be extrapolated to the larger industry as well in a way that I think none of us would be happy with. Let's be honest here. Let's say, for example, Harrison Ford, right? You get Harrison Ford, he's like, oh man, I want to take a sick day. I feel like I don't want to like really voice act in my own film, right? Why couldn't he just then go and take his voice, put it into an AI thing, and just have it span out everything while he just stands around?
Okay, why not? Yeah, that's fine. He chose to do it. Yeah, absolutely.
That's up to them. I mean, at the end of the day, that would be up to the individual. See, this comes back down to you're trying to argue moral. For me, I'm just arguing dollars and cents when it comes down to it.
Well, I'm still arguing. It's
going to be quite critical here because it's fundamental to. Well, let's be honest here. This AI shit has a massive ramification on society, right? And if it continues, so did automating our entire world. Taking out the horse and buggy and that had a ramification of our world. Where is it now? Is it in a bad place or is it in a better place? I'm a Luddite. I think technology advancing the way it is needs to be restricted. It needs to be controlled to some degree because if we don't have it be controlled to some degree, people lose opportunities.
Well,
go ahead.
I'm also arguing from a moral standpoint, but I'm also like, I think it's okay for him to use his own voice. I'm still arguing from a moral standpoint. The moral standpoint is it's his voice, his voice, his choice. That one rhymes. He can do whatever he wants with it. And I'm more of a believer of personal freedoms in that regard than I am of, if he uses his voice in a way, then it'll go down some slippery slope where I guess all of his videos are AI now.
Slippery.
Let me ask a question that I want to change gears a little bit. First, a question of that. What is the difference, playing devil's advocate? What is the difference between using AI to generate someone's voice versus hiring another voice actor who sounds the exact same to just mimic the voice?
I mean, very easy difference. One is actually using a real voice actor, to actually try and effectively, they're imitating, but they're doing an actual job here. They're actually performing the craft.
As a consumer, I don't care.
Yeah,
that's the problem. You're looking at the consumer.
Okay, on the consumer end, a lot of things are acceptable, even though complete dog shit. I'm not going to argue just because, convenient for the consumer here. I'm arguing it as a craft. I think that voice acting itself is a craft, and I think that's really important. And that includes why I don't support, just put your own voice in. Because then everyone would do that. Everyone would fucking do that. Because guess what?
Okay.
Most lines in movies are dubbed over. They're redubbed over and over again to get the perfect take, right? Often it's subtle. Sometimes they just record the entire scene over and over again. Imagine what would happen to every fucking film if we had every actor doing the same thing. Not only would it be a lot cheaper, it'd be a great incentive there, but now we have every film being dubbed over by fucking AI completely. Like, what the fuck am I meant to say about that? The craft of voice acting is diminished heavily.
Well, it also depends. It depends. It depends because, let's come back down to the example I gave with me and using my voice. Like I said, we've been screwing around with ourselves for a long time with AI voices. We have somebody that's in our group. He's Australian. He's a thick.
Australian.
Hey, don't play to my fucking country.
Hey, don't poach the fish yet. Don't poach the fish yet.
Australian on this side.
Yeah.
But anyways, we have somebody that's in our group that's Australian, and we cannot replicate his accent. It actually makes it sound like an older version of someone else that's in our chat, not in our group. So you can't replicate voices. You can't replicate accents. You can't do anything like that.
Okay. So
at the end of the day, just so I can fix this for Sparky a little bit, it can mimic nuanced tones. It does have the ability to create some degree of emotions. You have to go through the same process as you would for animation dubbing, repeating the line multiple different times until you get the right take that you want, and then you've got to string them together. So again, just because we're replacing a voice with a different version all the way around, we still have to put a lot of time and effort. It's not like it's a one and done thing.
It may not be a one and done thing, but the problem is not really to do with that. The problem is to do with it lacking the craft. Go ahead.
all right, go
I
ahead,
can
Ty.
rephrase Tank's point into a way that is, I guess, a little more objective. Someone's getting paid. That's kind of that's the big difference there for me.
That's a good way to put it. I often think
someone's getting paid, right?
Okay.
Like I do a pretty slapping good. God, I can't say that without giggling. I do a pretty slapping good Shadow the Hedgehog impression, and a lot of people have paid me to say the Pickle Rick meme in the Shadow voice, and it's incredibly funny. But if someone used AI to make that exact meme, I don't think I'd be really upset unless the person knew me directly and knew that I could do the voice, and probably would just for free. Like, I like doing the voice. It's funny. It's a cool party trick. It's like not the hardest thing ever for me to do. I can easily go up to the mic and just pretend that I'm a black hedgehog with a gun for like 5 seconds. That's not a hard thing for me to do. I think I'd be more upset if someone knew I could do it, knew I'd do it for free, and then used AI anyway. But like, if someone used AI, I don't think I'd mind. But in the grand scheme of things, the difference is that someone's getting paid, and I would rather someone get paid because, you know, it's already hard to be a voice actor right now.
Okay, so with that, I want to switch gears onto this topic of morality versus practicality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do a bit of a ramble to hit both sides and then get everybody's take from that.
Okay.
All right. So the first part with all of this is we have already seen technology be accused of ending civilization as we know it. The prime example, which I've known for over a decade, and I love to bring this one up, is the sewing machine, which went through a lot of issues to get a good patent because all the kings and queens said, if you make this machine, you're going to lose all of the jobs of the people who already sew clothes by hands. It would take days, if not weeks, to make pairs of clothing. So many people were within this field. Finally, someone gave in, and the sewing machine was made. Did people lose their jobs? Yes, for a while. But then, since people were able to make all of this clothing, and people didn't have to steal from corpses and whatnot, so a lot of good things came from it. You have new industries that popped up. People who were able to make stylish clothing using the sewing machines, able to bring the price down dramatically because it costs a lot less. And we see actually created more jobs. We see the same thing with the light bulbs versus the candlesticks. Also, when the light bulbs, when they began putting up street lights, there was mini riots from the people who would go up and turn on the candles and put it out in the mornings. I forgot what they were called. But they were pissed off, and we see this happen time and time and time again. On the flip side of that, to argue the other side, AI has shown that at a certain point, it seems like the end of the road is hit with that. With AI, you run the risk of permanently putting these people just out of commission, which will create many other issues, because if you can't make a living doing art, a lot less people are going to do art, and so quality in general will drop. The AI will pick up on the lower quality and will create a horrible cycle. And with the way the economy works, people are going to get so used to just paying a fraction of what they used to pay actual artists, and they're not going to want to go back to paying 10 times what they used to.
Yep.
There's also the issue of getting into moralities and abstractions and whatnot, like I did in my previous video. The aspect of going on a personal journey with creating art, getting better at the art, learning what makes you tick when you make the art, that shit does not exist, at least as far as I have seen with other people and my own experiments with it. That does not exist with AI art. And so from a personal moral perspective, I feel there is something being lost with AI art that you will not be able to replicate if you take away the hand-drawn people. So those are my two sides of this issues. So by all means, feel free to say...
Yeah, I'm working something. Okay. So, that last particular point where, like, you know, you don't feel like you're really getting the satisfaction of being an artist when you're making AI art, is because you're not making AI art. You're telling a prompt or showing a prompt to a machine, and the AI makes it for you. That's why I call AI art. The AI itself is creating that. That's part of the reason I'm against it. You're getting a soulless machine, a soulless automaton, to completely replace the artistic craft of mankind. Like, there's one thing for a tool, and another thing for a completely, like, you know, not like just a complete machine to replace every aspect of the craft entirely. Like, the reason the sewing machine and the AI are different is simply because you have the sewing machine, you can be directly engaged with the craft, and all it's doing is automating small parts of the craft, right? Very small aspects of it. You still have to direct the aim and control. You still have to make sure the lines will fit together. You still have to be proactively composing every single aspect of this craft. You can't do that with AI. It's just simply fucking impossible. I mean, literally, like, you are putting in prompts and you're giving reference, and it does it for you. And I can't be okay with that, even if it's practical, because the practical aspect, I mean, that's the reason, you know, I consider it from time to time, right? But, like, in the end of the day, it replaces so much of what we do, much more than anything before. Much more. Like, we have a serious risk of losing so much of the human experience to machines. And, like, how am I going to be okay with that? That's my argument there. Yeah,
I think that your point is valid, but the issue is that there's nuance there that we need to address.
I mean, there
like Teaman said, you know, the sewing machine is a great example. You know, the sewing machine did take away jobs, but there was a positive there, and then. Well, hold on. Let me finish. It did take away some jobs, but then it eventually made new ones. And the art of clothes making didn't die. It's still around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you still have designer clothes, and you still have graphic designers making funny T-shirts, and you still have, like, the art of clothes making isn't dead. It's simply evolved. However, the concern with AI with the arts, such as voice acting and the such, is all it there like is the other thing that Teaman said. You know, it always leads. It could potentially lead to a point where you literally would never go and pay for a live person to do it, because all you need is a bit of time, and the AI will be able to replicate that perfectly. Again, I know that's a slippery slope argument, but that is something that voice actors and creatives do not want to reach. There's a huge difference between the sewing machine and AI as inventions that make life simpler. You also Thomas made a new one. It made new jobs like sweatshop managers.
Well, real quick before anybody else, Teaman has also said this completely out of context.
I seen that, but I also seen it in the back.
I'm not going to say what caused me to say that in chat, but go on, Sparky Odo.
So to kind of roll over everybody on this one, we still use machine crafting for a lot of different things, from shirt designs to everything else. Hell, people who use certain programs for making their art, animation, things like that, even taking away the old-fashioned pen and ink for the person the colorist in that, it's all done by a machine now.
That's not really
So
the point. The
we-
point
we're,
is the
we're, we're
craft.
changing
Well,
one aspect of the
hold on,
job
hold
and changing
Sorry.
the tool to be something completely different. It's still the same job. It's just now we don't have to wait for the ink to dry on the paper.
Yes, no, he's actually right. I do digital art. I use an iPad to draw. I do not use pen and paper. You know why? Because the undo button is my best friend.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm a digital artist as well. I mean, I do animation by digital. The reason why the entire
You
animation
who's in the
went to
gaming
that.
industry,
However,
do you actually make your own sprites, or do you go out of your way and
I pride myself in making my own sprites.
okay,
yes, I
so
do.
are you literally making them yourself, or using a software in order to make them?
I am using software, but this is
So
where the
you are
argument.
using
let me
AI to
finish.
make these individual.
No, because
Well,
it's not
well-
AI. No,
Well,
I am
technically
no.
you
I'm
are,
going correct-
because
no,
it's an
no,
We're
no,
ignoring the
this is not-
context.
this is
We're
where
ignoring the
definition of
nuance. We're
AI
ignoring
is
nuance.
incorrect.
We're
Okay,
ignoring
because-
nuance here.
Yeah,
Hold
yeah,
on,
that's
we're
what I'm
ignoring
trying to
nuance
say
here.
here.
Well, no.
Okay?
No.
I
don't-
I have to make a fucking argument here. My main issue with what was being said here is there's a big difference between an AI, like for example, the machine learning kind of AI that generates stuff through chat, GPT, and all kind of stuff through a direct interface, right? There's a difference between that and a direct interface program, like for example, a sprite. A sprite is what I use to create my program here.
Okay, so now this is the bigger thing. So
Okay.
we're going to divide the two AIs, because there's two different versions of AI that
There is.
exist.
Yeah.
There is something that's called traditional AI focused that specializes in a certain area, and then there's something called generative artificial intelligence, GAI. Are we arguing that all AI in general is bad, or are we arguing that the general AI is the questionable one?
I would argue that
Because
there's
the
a
general
third type.
one
Okay,
is
there's a third.
Go ahead.
There's kind of the third type here, because when we're talking about general AI, I think that most of the stuff we're talking about actually doesn't fit into that. Like, say for example, chat, GPT, all that kind of crap like that. It's not really true general AI. It's more of an algorithm. It's more of just
Actually, no,
straight
it is actually general AI.
It is okay.
It is general
with neural
AI.
networks?
See, this is the problem when people forget to argue the nuance and leave the nuance out of the equation, because now you're just kind of you're lumping everything in one area.
Oh,
Real
well, I'm
quick,
not
look at the
trying to.
message.
Let me finish here. I'm not trying to do that, right? And what I'm trying to do here is more talk about. I am trying to talk about the generative aspect of AI, right? Not just like we're under the hood. I'm talking about the generative aspect, replacing the craft entirely. Because with a sprite, right, I can go to my drawing tablet right here, and I can directly, using a pen, draw out a sprite, or using a mouse directly draw out and create a sprite one-to-one. And I have perfect fine control over that process. And I
And
can
you're
mitigate
okay
that
with
control through-
the traditional version of AI.
Yeah, I would say yes, then in that regard, yes. But
Well,
Then
here's
when
the
it comes
thing,
down
it's
to the
about the direct
generative one,
interface
which
of
is
control.
ChatGPT and a few other things,
We're
where we have
running
to
in
still prompt
circles.
it. Yeah.
We're running in
Yeah,
circles.
I will
So-
here.
I
we're
don't
getting
agree
our
with your
point.
definition here. I
Pause
think
real
your
quick.
definition is-
Let's do it like this. For Tank or Tai Sensei Sama, give me a scenario in which you think is plausible, in which you would say AA has gone too far. It's time to pull this thing back.
Certainly.
Okay, that's you go first.
Okay,
I think-
certainly. I don't think I could give an exact scenario, but I could define what trends I would be uncomfortable with. I think I'd be uncomfortable if we started seeing either a movie or a video game or anything of the sort by a bigger corporation. This is not about indie projects. We've talked about those. We've talked about why AI is a little more acceptable for those. But this is a big corporation. This is a big video game company that is either using AI to make the code and to generate the code, to generate the voice acting, to generate certain aspects of the game that we aren't generating already. Like I said, I think the way that we have video games right now is questionable, but fine enough. If it reached a point where no voice actors were hired for this project, and AI was used to replicate pretty much all of their voices, and nobody really cared, that's the point where I would put my foot down, but I'd probably be uncomfortable before that point. But if it reached the point where like an entire cast was replaced by AI, that's what I'm like, nope, it has gone too far. This is an abomination against art itself. Get this out of here.
Okay,
so
what's
Sparky-
that from my game?
Hold on, wait. Before you go on, gotta give Sparky and Rogue a chance to respond.
Sure.
Go ahead, Rogue.
No, go Spark, go.
I'm sorry. I was in the middle of trying to do something else real quick. I had something going on in the background.
No, you're all good,
hear.
buddy. You're all good, buddy.
No, I didn't hear what you were saying.
Oh, okay. TLDR, very, very TLDR is I would be putting my foot down if, say, for example, an entire voice cast of a big budget project had no voice actors and was just AI generated.
Gotcha.
And no one cared.
No,
Yeah.
I agree with you on that one. Now, I understand, like, okay, main actors and side actors. I can understand, like, background noises or like off distance conversations or something just nuanced like that being used, AI being used for that. I can understand that one. But like main parts, main story attributes that other actors would do, I don't agree with that one.
I still think you should give, because what the roles I did, this is as much as I can say. One of the roles I did was for background noise, and that alone gave me a pretty good amount of money that I could use to put more towards voice acting. I think that even for background noise, like, it's more acceptable to use AI for that, but I would still be uncomfortable if background noises were replaced by generative AI. I would rather someone get paid, especially if you're a big corporation, especially if, like, you're especially if you're a big corporation, you have the money to do so. That's just how I feel on the whole thing.
I kind of agreed with you to a point, but again, when arguing dollars and cents with larger corporations, again, they're more about profit gain than paying somebody out. If they can make a game that's outright available to the mass audience, and again, the mass consumer, doesn't matter, niche market, whatever, and they can make 110 to 2,000% in profit and not have to give any of that to anybody else, that it's an underling, sky's the limits for them. It comes back down to, it's going to be based off of contracts and how they treat their staffs going forward. And again, consumers have the opportunity to buy in or buy out.
Right, but this is not about whether it's practical. It's what I would feel uncomfortable with. That was the question.
I don't care either way.
I mean, I would actually.
Okay, then.
I want to stretch your cat a bit further, right? As I mentioned before, like, the main indie game I'm currently working on right now, I have a friend who is very, very, and he's on the team, right? He's one of the team members on the team. He is very, very versed in not only 11 Labs, but other programs that are used for, like, AI voice acting stuff. He's made entire songs using AI voice acting, right? Now, the question is, if I released this game out and it got big, how would you feel about that, Ty? Because the reason I ask that is I don't really see a big difference between a small indie game that launches off big and a massive AAA game that's like a shitburger, right? I think that, like, there's been a lot of games that are very much in the cultural zeitgeist, even more than some of these larger AAA games, like Undertale was a great example of that. Minecraft, several other games. How would you feel if a lot of those, like, small indie games that took off massively used AI voice acting entirely?
Well, okay, so if the question is what happens if an indie developer has something take off, I mean, we've literally talked about that, the Scooby-Doo and Springtrap situation. We've literally talked about what happens.
Project. I'm talking about paid project in particular.
Oh, paid. Well, paid, yeah, but like, okay, but the question then is, like, how much is your budget then? For example, in my master's program, we cut voice acting from cutscenes because we did not have enough voice actors.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Well, we cut. Well, we did. We still had voice actors. We still had one other voice actor.
Okay, I'm gonna pause. Sorry, Ty. Teaman, some shit happening in the comments, bro. Like,
I'm watching.
He's got it. I'm just gonna keep going. We had 3 voice actors on the game: me, my girlfriend, and one other voice actor playing our boss. And it was a pretty nice experience, and honestly, the game was fine without it. We had zero budget, by the way. We were a master's program. Now, with that being said, my feelings on a smaller game using AI and then becoming big is the same way that I would feel about the Scooby-Doo video, which is it was smaller, they used AI, it became big, and the answer is, all right, now that you're big and now that you have a network of voice actors who are willing to be part of your project, why don't you take advantage of that, you know? And that's kind of where I stand on it.
So you argue, for example, that it'd be okay for me to do that.
I think
in a position where I have effectively zero budget. One of the other people working with is a fucking Brazilian. He has definitely zero budget. That's the guy I was talking about, the 11 Labs guy, right?
Well, yeah, but I think that.
Let me finish.
Oh, sure, sorry.
And I'm talking about this because there's a real scenario here where I have four characters who have very distinct, four main characters who have very distinct personalities, and I am pretty confident I will not be able to find a suitable voice acting role for these characters. I've looked around already. I don't see a very suitable. Okay, Bear Dog, fuck you, man. Okay, let's continue. Okay. What am I trying to say again? Oh yeah. I'm pretty confident I will not be able to find a voice actor for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that creates a big problem because the characters, I think that a lot of emotion ties into how they sound and how they convey themselves. A lot of subtlety to it.
Yep.
And that leaves the question open: should I be using AI for that? Because if I do that, I'm opening up the door to a project that could potentially take off very heavily.
Well, if you think it'll take off and you think that it'll be big and you think that it's going to be out there and you're using it, are you using it for profit? Like, are you profiting off this?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an indie game, right? Like,
I think that you should hire voice actors, or at least try and find some that will either. I think that once you walk into the profit territory, then AI is probably out of the question here. I understand that you're a smaller indie developer, but I think that there are more creative solutions.
I kind of disagree with Ty there. Ultimately, if you're trying to make it big and you can't find anybody who's going to fit and that's the issue that you're facing, and the only way you're going to be able to do it is to simulate something. We've been simulating a lot of things forever when it comes down to the movie industry. So yeah, if it's going to help you make your project kick off and then open up the door so that you can have a plethora of different voice actors at your beck and call to either reprise the role, re-edit the role, or whatever. That's exactly what happened with the Springtrap Kid.
Well, if that's your plan, then yeah, go for it. If that's your plan, then go for it.
Edition is the Springtrap Kid.
Hold on. I'd like to respond to something which I was about to get to. Andrew Ryan saying that VIs aren't easy to get. I half agree. If you have a budget and you have the ability to, and you plan on going big with this,
I don't have a budget.
No, sorry. Well, I'm just saying in general. Like, if fine, let's just use you specifically. If you're planning on going big with this, and you make it clear that this game is going to be released and put out in the public, there are several good voice actors who will absolutely flood the audition section. You're going to get a lot of bad ones, but you are going to get some good ones in there.
Okay. I mean, if you can connect me, I
would be more than happy to connect you, buddy. I will actually add you on Discord right now.
There you go. So the main question for you, Ty, going forward, since you're a voice actor and you know a few different in the industry, is there an easy access for anybody who's starting for voice actors? Can we just simply go to anywhere to get anybody?
You can, so in terms of getting like the best of the best voice actors, like if you're trying to find, I don't know, Yuri Lowenthal, that might be a little more difficult.
Oh, yeah.
However, like if you want, there are a ton of good voice actors underneath that layer of just complete Blue Yeti microphone dog crap, right? Like there is a ton of good voice actors out there. And they often just go on Casting Call Club, look for projects they can put their voice in that they know will go big, and then audition for them. They often don't go to smaller things like fan dubs or anything like that. They often be like, oh, a video game needs voice actors? Well, do tell. I'm going right in there. If you post in the right places, and I think that's a lot easier to network and understand than meeting Yuri Lowenthal. I don't think it's that hard to go on Casting Call Club and make we are making a video game, please apply below.
I've seen that tried and happen for some different areas of the market. Again, like I said, I've been in the industry for a while, but it doesn't always work as that way very quickly and easy. You literally have to go through a lot of people, and sometimes you don't even get the one that you want.
You certainly do.
And it comes back down to if he's not unable to get the voice that he's looking for.
If he just can't, if we're in the scenario where he literally can't find
scoured everybody and no one else is available.
No one fits the voice.
Yes.
Then yes, I think fine. You have a pass to use it at that point, I suppose.
All right, there's a pass.
Well,
so there you go.
Go ahead.
So we've covered this pretty well. I have one more question that's relevant to this topic. Then I'm gonna have one final gear shift. But before we do all that, I have to do a thing which everyone hates, but I'm gonna demand it anyway. Hey,
buy his stuff.
Buy my tea over at the Dragon's Treasure because
buy some coffee instead.
DragonsTreasure.com.
I have coffee as well if need be.
Oh God!
Sold
You
out of
give
Dio.
it to the coffee drinkers, the coffee plebs. Why would you do that?
I roasted myself, so I at least have that going for me. But this is my company, my tea. I am not using some third-party guy. This is me and my stuff. So if you like what you're hearing, feel free to support me. I have, for some reason, lost 8 subscribers from this live stream, which is
what?
Good riddance, I guess. I don't know.
It's fine. you drop down in order to gain more. It's fine. Whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
If
you want a tea drinker, use me. I have had a lot of good reviews. Just look at the reviews, verified. If you're not a tea drinker, you actually are. You just don't know it yet. That's one of the main things I wanted to do with this company. Is way too many tea businesses with just snobs who only care about other high-end tea drinkers. And so, if you want to try something from somebody who knows what it's like to be in your shoes, message me. You see that button on the bottom right, chat? Let me go back to my little thing. Press that. Write a little message. I will get it. And we'll have a nice little chit-chat about what I can do to help you out. I'm not going to go into the sob story stuff, sorry. But that is enough shilling. Mr. Tank is back. And so with that, I have one question, followed by a shift in gears.
Oh boy.
All right. So, to the people over to my right, how would you feel if someone took the AI work that you made, took it for themselves, and found a way to make a profit off it?
I honestly don't care.
When it comes down to it, I'd have the Medicare approach. If you can find a way to make a profit off of it, great, go for it. I don't see a problem whatsoever. I'm not going to go out of my way to strike you down like many have done for the clipping channels that do exactly the same thing. Yeah, I don't see an issue.
End of the day, the way it goes is I'm doing this for fun. I built the AI Medica bot just for fun and just say, hey, it can be done. And once we get it tweaked and tuned, we're going to release it out to the public. Same with like the voice log files and everything like that for everyone to do their own stuff. And there's also other people out there that's trained up different bots for different things. If I remember right, there's a couple of VTubers that have actual AI bots of them. It's not that hard to build. It just need a voice model, and you got to tell ChatGPT how to roleplay it. So it's not like we've done
any AI that you can craft together to mimic a certain thing, a counter.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, end of the day, if somebody wants to take and make money off it, more power to them. But there's a reason why I don't monetize it.
All right, and there's one other thing that I just remembered because I was looking up the Daphne thing, and there is a bit of a funny irony. I just want to get people's take on it. Is she commissioned somebody to do a drawing of Daphne?
I remember this.
And as it turns out, the drawing she paid like $650 for it, and it was AI generated from the woman who was all like, all AI stuff is evil.
It was an irony. I loved it. I thought it was funny. It was a good troll.
Cool.
It just proved that even she who thought that you can spot the difference, kind of you can't really in some cases.
Right. And so I'm going to shift gears now, and this will be a fun shifting of the gears, because I think this will be a shift in which none of us, I'm going to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, none of us have really given much thought to. AI in terms of legal stuff, tracking crime, giving out sentences, things along those lines. Has anyone thought about it or have any takes?
Literally have. I literally wrote a paper on this. Wrote a paper on this.
Nice.
Here we go.
Okay, so basically, we already kind of do that. We already kind of do that in some capacity. What a lot of, let's use police, for example. Often what they'll do is they'll use algorithms to determine what parts of what cities and what areas are most crime-ridden, and then assign officers to those areas. Right. So let's say, for example, that, robbery, right? Robbery is a crime that usually happens in poorer areas, because usually when you're poor, you're desperate for money and you're willing to do anything for it. So, so, you're going to go out and commit a robbery. Now, this will result in the police being called to that area. And then it will be when they're deciding, oh, where are we going to send cops to? They'll look at their little algorithm map that someone made them and go, oh, the algorithm or the AI or whatever program we're using says that this city had a robbery recently. We should send more officers there to make sure. And then there are more officers there to do things like to check petty crimes, such as weed smoking in the states where it's not legal. I don't know, jaywalking because they need to meet an arrest quota. However, for a lot of these petty crimes, people in poorer communities and people in middle class communities actually probably commit them at the same rate. Everyone's here has jaywalked. Don't act like you haven't jaywalked. You've all done it. Sure, yeah? Jaywalking's legal. All done it. You've all jaywalked. Everyone here has done it. Naughty, naughty.
Jaywalking legal up here, bro.
It's so true.
You mean down there, Austria boy?
Hey,
jaywalking in different parts of Canada has different ramifications, and officers up here do it constantly, so it's not really a crime. It's considered one, but it's so low tier they don't even care about it.
I don't usually respond to comments. Panina, I'm not talking about the fucking riots, you actual fucking psych. What the hell? I'm not even talking about how cut.
I know she does that all the time.
We're not talking about BLM stuff. We're not talking about any of the culture war stuff.
All right, don't worry. We'll have a chat with her later. She's one of our co-hosts.
She goes to the extreme. She's a forever Trumper, and it's forget it. Just give it that one up.
We're not doing politics in this thing.
Anyway, as I was saying, that's often why we have a police issue in certain parts of America, because they're sent to areas where, they're poorer communities, so more cops are going to be sent there. But unfortunately, poorer communities, the people will look at this, and because they don't know how to analyze statistics, they'll go, oh, poor people commit more crime. That makes sense to me. But if we included all crime being caught at all times, the number really wouldn't be that much bigger than other parts of the cities. So I think that using generative processes or algorithms to determine where to send police officers, for example, it's clearly not working, as we have a methamphetamine epidemic that's only being caught in certain parts of the country.
I agree. If the actual data was used properly, you'd probably get a different algorithm entirely. But because, and again, this is something that's beautiful about AI, it's non-discriminative. It depends on how you put that information in is what you're going to get in return. So as well as if you look at the drug epidemic in the United States, mostly there's a huge amount of money behind your big pharma that keeps it going and flowing.
Yeah, we know about that.
So with all that, for this next part, I'm going to be chiming in a lot more, giving various pushbacks to everybody.
Oh no.
I love this. Go for it.
Oh, God.
The classic,
I don't know if I can handle it.
the classic lowly debate.
No!
Dude. Okay, last time I'm going extreme, dude. I
Nope.
want to leak this shit. Don't.
What are you
No.
gonna give me?
I'm
I
not-
just-
how much of
I'm
an eating
not
do you
gonna
want?
do
We're
this.
we're not gonna do literally that. Well, all right. So we'll go like this, and if nobody likes it, we'll just move on.
I
But-
can actually talk about it, but I hate it. I
Oh,
can't. I have
God.
Hold
arguments.
on. Pause.
Too many people.
Let me
too many people
just
take it out of context.
Let
I'm
him do
going
his
to
thing, people.
Stop. Yeah, everybody stop. So, I'm gonna use it in this way because we're talking about legality stuff. So I'm pretty sure Colo's already said if you draw the underage, okay. Well, let's take out the anime lolly stuff. Let's just stick with that. You try and use terminology to not get me kicked off the YouTubes if you can.
Just call it cheese
so-
pizza.
Yeah, so if somebody draws cheese pizza, I'm pretty sure the courts have already said you can't put someone in jail for that. What if they use AI to do it? Do you think that anybody who uses AI to generate these images should go to jail?
Oh,
Yeah.
if we're talking, yeah, hands down. No,
Straight
absolutely.
up,
Yes,
go
yes.
to jail.
Okay.
You'll
Okay,
go,
Problem.
you'll put-
AI won't be able to generate it because of its terms that it has, and it won't do
It
underage
won't,
anything that's considered illegal. It won't even swear. You have to put in special prompting in order to break the algorithm that they produce. Unless you make it yourself, like the AI itself, you won't be able to generate
I'm
that.
going to give you
I
a
hate-
black pill on this. No, I got to take something on this. There are people who already have attempted to make AI that is completely unfiltered. It seems to be very popular in the hentai whatever, right? The hentai market of this shit. They have been. I think there are probably people who are going to try and do that, which is horrifying, fucking horrifying.
I think
Well,
that.
at this point, everyone seems to be in some form of agreement. So I don't.
Well,
think
I
that-
want to make one thing known. I want to make one thing known.
Okay.
I want to make one thing known. First of all, Thomas is correct. If AI is outputting cheese pizza, that means it's been being fed real cheese pizza, which is
Which is
think
what I
about
was
that.
going to say.
Think about that
I'm
for a
not
second.
I'm not
That's
saying it's
horrifying.
impossible. It says basically if you're going to the larger market areas in order to do that, it's not going to really do it because it has its own it has its own demands that it can't do. You would have to literally build the machine yourself, and people have done it. Not difficulty to do it, and be able to add in whatever stipulations that you want in order to make as much cheese pizza as you want to. Now, if we're talking about that kind of system altogether, you are pretty much treading a very large landmine of discussion as well as legalities, because in certain areas of the global world, that's illegal. Period. End of line.
No.
You're asked
Yeah.
jail. Done.
There is.
I have nothing I can push back against,
I
so-
have one more thing to mention about that, and this
Okay.
is actually about even like something like normal stable diffusion or whatever. There have been times where stable diffusion have clearly generated things that are unintentional to the algorithm. There's a great video on this done by Nexpo. What's it called? It's called, I believe, The Dark Side of AI, right? And with that, I'm pretty sure that stable diffusion at some point has been fed gore. To be honest,
Yeah.
like real gore has gone through stable diffusion, and that's obviously
Oh no,
banned.
it's worked. I've experimented
yeah.
with this. It can generate some pretty.
No, I mean,
I am.
at the end of
I
the
want to
day,
see how far I can push it.
Well, I mean, when AI was first started as basically a chatbot that was available to the World Wide Web at large,
like well
it
into
became
AI.
very anti-Semitic and wanted it to nuke everybody. They had to reset it multiple times.
How often AI ends up being racist, sexist, discriminatory is just. We need to learn from these
Right.
machines.
Guess what? Yeah.
Okay,
nah.
So before
what
that,
I'm trying to
hold
say
on.
is, I got to finish my point. AI, you'll never be able to put a full net over this kind of thing, unfortunately, because the rules are like we as humans, right? We have the ability to conceptualize things, right, properly, and AI just doesn't. And because of that, right, AI will just be fed certain criteria that it will not do, but like anything that falls in between the gap, no matter how small that gap is, will be generated. And that's why no matter how hard you do to try and stop these things from happening, if it had at any point been fed that reference material, because a neural network is ginormous, what are you going to do? That's why the gore thing's a problem. And that's bad enough as it is. Like, we don't know how much of that's real gore, but a lot of it probably is. And that's still happening, even right now. It's fucked.
But that is because,
I will
again,
also add,
of
when the
human
gore stuff-
influence.
When I discovered that you can actually make gory stuff, I was playing the game of let's go down here and up and up and up and see how long it takes until it generates that. It ended up doing it when I was really low on the list of things I was trying to do. I was like, wow, that was easier than I expected. So
it's like a really messed up version of the Rule 34 challenge.
It is.
God.
So Mr. Hamdrew Ryan gave $5 for this. Thank you, Mr. Hamdrew. What are your thoughts on Niru-sama? If you don't know, she is an AI-generated VTuber. She's monetized and makes a lot of money. Also, shout out to my stuff, please. And I will, in fact, do that because you gave me money. Just give me one quick moment. As soon as I have way too many people
I literally have to.
I got some things to say about Nero, so.
All right. There we go. Just give me one quick moment. I'm just gonna post it in chat. Forget it. Go here. Mr. Hamdrew is also a VTuber, so I'm gonna go ahead and share his links. So feel free to go ahead and check him out. You can also find him on my Discord. He's got his own Discord. And so shilling somebody else is done. And people said that they have takes on this, on Niru-sama and AI VTubers.
Yeah. So Niru-sama is entirely homemade. If I remember right, the creator is Vettel. And originally Nero started out as just a game playing bot and then evolved from there. You cannot get it anywhere. There's no download or GUI, anything like that for it. It's entirely custom made by Vettel. And I don't have an issue with it because it's marketed as a AI VTuber. It's not like trying to hide. It's not trying. He's not trying to make it as. Oh no, this is a real person. Come here, look. And it's like, no, this is my creation. Neuro, interact with her, see how she plays games, and go from there. And
didn't she also go anti-Semitic over time?
Yeah, he has to reel it back every now and then.
Again, because of human.
She has went
over AI pretty quick.
Yeah, she has went Skynet a couple of times.
So
I hate it when I try and ask for pasta recipes and it keeps ranting about the Jews. I hate that so much. I hate when it does that.
Damn.
I don't think I really care about this. Like Sparky said, being marketed as an AI VTuber, if people like it, they can go to it. I think that this is pretty low on my list of priorities of things to worry about.
I kind of agree, but also like to point out the Japanese have already done this to a Japanese pop star that doesn't exist whatsoever. It is completely CGI AI kind of controlled. I believe the last name was Iguchi. I think it's Ami Iguchi. It's not an actual thing.
Also, you could argue that Hatsune Miku was the first ever AI smile.
Yeah.
You could argue.
Hatsune Miku is probably the most popular still to this very day. And yeah, she's entirely like built around the idea of like being AI generated effectively.
Yeah.
Not literally, but the idea of her. So
the idea
and they've tried it.
They're just adding more in it and to a point it's so and they're making money off of it.
And I think the difference between Miku and like what we're mainly worried about is like someone made Miku. Like they first ever. No, not first ever. Thomas, shut your mouth. Stop it. Use hyperbole. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Mean. Stop it.
Somebody actually marketed one as the first. I was like, man, that is not.
Yeah,
right.
dude, he does. I guess he doesn't know. He doesn't know chat. But like, yeah, I think like someone sat down and made Miku. Someone sat down and made Nero. And Nero does just use Chat GPT, which again, I've never had an issue with Chat GPT. Chat GPT is how I do my cover letters. By the way,
Actually, Actually, no, Neo doesn't use ChatGPT. It's all custom built by Vettel.
I looked up because I didn't know who she was.
It's all
Yeah,
custom
no.
built.
Like I said before, you could use ChatGPT, but most people, if you're good, you make the program yourself. It's a little challenging. You're not going to get the average, idiot mouth breathers, I like to call them, doing it. You're going to have to spend some quality time understanding a little bit of things, or convincing ChatGPT to help you build the bot.
Yeah, Nuo's actually been around since 2011 and 2014.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was a Nuo started out, like I said, as a competition project that Vettel did for coding, and the only thing it did was play a game. That's all it was built to do at first, and was built up from there.
That's cool.
Wasn't there a few like Twitch channels that did pretty much that, which is play games based off of the direction of chat?
Well, yes, that's not.
What was it?
Really...
Pokemon Red, the game was actually chat controlled, so people can actually play the classic.
Well,
Pokemon.
they did that. They also gave controls to a Goldfish to play Pokemon Blue.
There you go. So
I think we all are somewhat in consensus with the Neurochan thing. What's next on the table?
Yeah, pretty much.
So before I continue, because I did have a couple of comments and whatnot that sparked some more questions. How is everybody on time? Because I don't want to keep you guys locked in.
I'm good.
I think I can do one more question. I think I can do one more question. I need to go eat and do a few chores.
Okay. So, which one am I going to go with first? This one is probably going to be a quick one.
Sure.
So there is that YouTuber who a couple of days ago announced that he was going to generate himself as AI to react to other people's videos. Do you guys know the one I'm referring to?
No.
I'm good.
Link? I should have a look.
Who?
I can't remember his name, but he's one of those. He's one of those multi-million subscriber channels.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
and he decided he made an AI program that is just his head, and you can kind of tell because there's expressions, but they're always kind of off. And he uses
Max Headroom.
It's not Mr. Beast. He uses ChatGPT and something else to analyze what the screen is showing, and then the AI head of his speaks generic reaction content bullcrap.
That is the funniest idea I've ever heard of in my entire life.
It is very funny.
That is so funny.
Fine.
If he's again, it kind of comes down to the same thing. If he's marketing it as it's not him, it's an AI built of me to react to this, I don't see the issue with it.
It's also his body, his rules here. He can AI himself however he wants, man.
Pretty much.
He can do whatever he wants.
It all. However, it is funny.
If you guys want to look him up, I'm going to post it in all the various chats, the name of the dude, so you guys can look it up in private.
Rebel Cop, that's what it was. Oh, it's my girlfriend! Hi, cuteness.
Ew!
Rebel Cop.
No women allowed!
No women allowed!
This is a boys-only stream. Oh, God! Oh, karma almost hit me. I almost knocked over my tea.
Oh, that's what you...
And it's a lot of tea.
Oh, no.
It seems as if God is a woman after all.
Oh, that's why he always fucks me. All right, so that's people's general idea. Let me at least put up a picture of this dude, because it's...
I've just Googled it.
Rebel Cop is a very
don't see a problem.
When the karma is instant.
Okay. I will put up, I'm going to do what I absolutely despise and do reaction content. I'm only going to do a little bit just so you guys can see what it looks like.
Should I provide the clickbait thumbnail faces?
I thought he was pretty much a clickbait YouTuber for the most part.
All right. So we're going to watch just a little bit of it. We're not going to watch the freaking 17-minute thing, but this is what he now does.
We are playing color or die.
Going to skip ahead.
Oh my God, you can no longer hide on red walls. Be careful. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
You can
right
tell it's
outside.
AI.
Never mind. Okay,
Yeah,
we found the screwdriver. Let's just quickly run to the other place, which was, I think, right over here. Here it is. Here it is. All right, open this up. There we go. What the flip is going on here? Some type of obby we have to complete now?
Okay.
Oh.
All right, so now you guys have an idea. Okay, at least this is not React content, but he also does. If we go to his channel.
Every moment.
Oh, quiet you. Surviving against
I-
Roblox.
Look at the
Wow.
clickbait. Oh god, yeah, he's one of those
So
guys.
clickbait.
The
I
end
hate
of Quibble
these
Get
guys.
AI. Cool
Did
guy.
he
check
take
it.
off? Where is all his React stuff? Did he remove it? Maybe the end of the AI. So maybe he's stopping it, but he's still doing it here. So maybe what this video is he's stopping the React content, but he's keeping this
Yep.
Roblox stuff because he had a lot, maybe on shorts.
I mean, I'm already
No.
already like pretty harsh on React content anyway, because like there's
Yeah.
a certain type of React
Yeah.
video. you
I
to be
have
good with.
issues with a lot of different commentator reaction stuff,
Yeah.
and a lot of them are pretty much cringe as it is. If they can find a way to automate their material so it's less cringe, I'm all for it.
I think
I
watching an
I
AI
wanna-
play Roblox is so fun.
Yes, Draconith.
I wanna-
everything you saw on screen was AI. The voice was AI. The head was AI. The zooming in and out was AI. So the guy did nothing besides make the AI program, which
Well,
it's
changed-
something,
I
but fuck
changed-
you.
Yeah,
Go on.
like
changing up a little bit. I kind of want to change my stance on that one just a little bit because I used to do React content for anime and stuff like that, and it was.
I scared my cat.
I mean, I have my
I
own
killed
take
him.
on reaction.
I helped kill it. I killed that thing. It's dead. Stop talking about it.
Yeah. But anyways, if it was him doing it, okay. And it really is it like the full video? If it's the full video of someone else and he's putting AI on it, I mean, unless he gets the okay from that channel, it's like that's like borderline for me right
This
there.
is gonna start getting into the ethics of React videos,
Yeah.
which is very different.
that's-
conversation.
I'll have a discussion there at some other point because I
Yes.
have.
God.
It's one of those things where people who hear me talk about it think I'm being irrational, but I think it's one of the worst fucking things to be happening to fucking reality because I get too far into abstractions and metaphysics, but to say I hate it would be an understatement like you would not believe. So with that,
but I thought the Kardashians was pretty much the downhill slope, or the start of the downhill slope for anybody in social media, for the most part. Anybody, I mean, fuck, entertainment now it's all based on the Kardashians or non-scripted television.
the lowest common denominator,
Yeah.
which is an issue that I've been talking about recently. Well, actually, I've not been using those words, but as some of you may know who follow the channel, I've been having a lot of issues of I'm kind of tired of trying to throw pearls before swine. So I make like my 4.5-hour video on the Epic of Dragon Ball, which, you know, the comments are fantastic. People love it. And it's got 400 some views. I shit out something about the Rings of Power and how Galadriel's actress is bad. What did I get? Like 20,000 views, some shit? And so it's like something I spend like basically 5 fucking years on gets 400 views, but I shit something out in a day from concept to actually making it 20,000 views.
Yep.
Welcome to
I
the
mean,
club.
look,
That's what
it-
happened
it
to
is-
me in the last
it's
couple
working
weeks.
algorithm. However, okay.
This is the reason why this is the reason why AI is kind of helpful for some content creators. They can actually see the here and nows and get an idea of what they could actually push out content wise, so that they can get bigger.
But I don't want to make stuff for the sake of getting bigger. I'm
Well,
one of those homosexuals, not literal.
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't want to use
each their own when it comes down to it, but that's the reason why the
It's
tool
the
is there.
essence.
Yeah, no, I agree with the essence there. Teaman, the main thing is like, why not do both? Aim for something that is gonna, be appealing to the algorithm, but also make it quality.
I have an answer to that. I've tried in the past. I just can't do it because
easier
in my
said than
voice
done.
you can hear my disappointment in myself. I've tried
Easier
going
said than
down
done
that
on
route,
that.
Yeah.
and you can
Just
just
make
hear
AI of
like,
yourself.
hey
Yeah,
guys,
there you go.
today
Yeah.
like, I can do it when I'm posting like, hey, what's going on YouTube? Teaman here with another awesome video, and just
If you want to join my Amazon gift card giveaway,
I mean, look.
Yeah.
some of it-
I mean, you want to be up there with the Jacksepticeyes, and all that kind of stuff. You're going to have to sell yourself.
No, okay, look, I think that there's a way to balance it, but you kind of need to market. You need to get out there constantly. You kind of need to make the garbage content.
I
suppose.
think one more AI related question, then I must be on my way.
I've got one. I've got one big one, and it's really important to me.
Okay.
ahead.
And this is about the age of misinformation. Now, I bring this up because right now we're in an age where there is now deepfakes that are convincing enough to effectively fake people, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm starting to see legitimately people attempting to fake out some really abysmal fucking shit in order to effectively try and destroy a person. Now, this can be kind of put as a double entendre here. What do we do about that? What do we do about people having like deepfakes of them saying or doing awful shit? What do we do about that?
We already have anti-defamation laws. We already
Pretty
have
much.
we
The
already have a
rules are-
lot of things set up to keep this from being a problem.
Yeah.
No.
It's a pain in the ass. It is a pain in the ass. Right?
It
Again,
sucks when it happens, right? Like it sucks when it happens.
Let
Well,
me
and
be
this
clear
is-
when I said go ahead.
all right.
Fuck you.
Well, like I said, this is the reason why I whenever I do Medica or PIP or anything like that, I keep it round down to stuff that they would say or have talked about or anything like the Medica bot. We're not gonna go and use it to like go at someone we don't like or anything like that. That's bullshit. But we will have it go through and talk about things that Medica himself has done before or has talked about or is talking about on his post. We'll do stuff like that. But yeah, the best thing for that is to, well, one, hopefully have a voice that can't be replicated. Two,
Why, mate?
it's like prove it. Have the person that's done this prove it. Where they get
That's
it from?
not
Where did it
really the
come from?
issue, I suppose. Because it's not about proving it or not proving it in like court of law. It's about you get like a deep fake of somebody saying, "Oh yeah, like I'm pulling a Yandev, right? We're gonna pull a Yandev, all right?" Saying some like awful sucky baka comment, right? And then you just put that out to like an audience of people who don't know any better. Now I'm not saying like a good example would be like Teaman, right? You get Teaman and somebody replicating say some like Yandev level shit, right? And they just send it out onto Twitter or wherever. What happens to that reputation if he's not able to defend himself legally in court because the law is not caught up with AI deepfaking?
That's the biggest. So yeah, I can see the dilemma and whatnot, and the tools we already have that are there. The problem comes back down to, and again, lawyers will do this pro bono because they know that they're going to be able to get a huge bank at the end of it. So that's
True.
Nothing questionable at the end of the day. So it's not hard for Teaman to get a lawyer. It's just how good of a lawyer we're talking about.
You know how broke I am.
They do things for pro bono. There's
I
some
mean,
lawyers
pro
who are
bono.
really good. They'll do it just for
Yeah,
the
I'm
game.
just being coy. I'm just being coy.
Right, no, I get it.
But I'm more kind of referring to just the average like internet loser, right? Like they're just around
the mouth breather.
and-
Okay, here's the problem. You can go on Twitter, okay, and you can see a million mouth breathers go fondle over an idea, and it's a clip. It's a short clip of a person in a weird situation, and they automatically will sway with their thought process. They will automatically say that one person's the bad guy in the situation and one person is the good guy in the situation without seeing the entirety of that incident. Black guy gets hit by a white guy. Oh, it's racism. We don't.
like
Unfortunately,
the thing.
unfortunately, without AI.
I mean, I'm more talking about stuff that like, okay, imagine if you heard somebody saying a particular thing, and like Yandev's a great example. Like Yandev talking about some really suck shit. That, like, imagine you apply that to an average person, and they have no way to defend themselves because it's just a faked out comment. Like, how are they meant to defend themselves if they don't have enough money to hire a lawyer? I mean,
Allow me to tell a story, actually, because this actually did happen to a friend of mine, a internet loser who nobody knew at all. He got into some internet drama. Basically, in one of the communities that I'm in, there was an instance where someone was... So let's give some names without dropping actual names. Bob. Bob is my friend. I love Bob. He's very cool, okay? Someone doesn't like Bob. Joe doesn't like Bob. Joe hates Bob. So Joe decides one day to artificially create an entire chat a very good looking one of Bob saying the N-word on multiple occasions, and dropping a lot of other very cringe statements. Now, this got Bob banned from all the servers in the community that we were in. And I was like, Bob, why did you say that, dude? He's like, I didn't. I literally didn't. I can tell you exactly what happened. So I am not a lawyer. I'm also not exactly, at the time I wasn't big in the community. Now I'm huge. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go fight on your behalf. So it turns out it's actually really easy to figure out what parts were faked and what weren't. It took a lot of cross-referencing of talking styles, grammar styles, how certain
way
words were
too much work,
photoshopped. I know, no, it is
a lot of work, but once you do, I mean, look, even for the DMs that you have in Discord, there is a way to alter them on your end of the Discord, so you can actually showcase it and screen cap it to have a completely different conversation that the person's using racial slurs, called you a bigot, or whatever.
Yep.
And actuality, it could have been just a nice little conversation about bunnies.
Yeah. No, like it's a lot of work, but at the same time, so is any defamation case.
Yes.
Like ever. It's just slightly more work. Like I said earlier, it sucks, but I'm not worried about deep fakes causing this giant this McCarthyism 2.0. Like I'm not worried about that.
It happens all the time.
Like right now, I think that there needs to be kind of at least an exception in the law to slam dunk something obviously deepfake. Because
it already is there. Defamation covers it.
Yeah, defamation and you can't defame someone using deepfake. It's already there.
Pause. I have spoken with certain lawyer friends about this specific thing, and unfortunately, because of there's a certain level of disconnect for some reason with the law with that, and it'll be really possible but really difficult to go with defamation if you do an AI generated thing. So the example that we talked about on stream was if somebody made an AI generated bullshit thing to say that the woman was cheating on her boyfriend or husband with Billy, and so the husband goes and kills Billy. The husband will be on the line for all that, but the guy who made the deepfake, from what I was told, it'd be extremely difficult to prove that he actually did anything with enough malice.
That isn't an issue with AI. That I feel like is an issue with.
That's a human thing.
Well, yeah. That's not just a human thing. That's a First Amendment problem specifically. The question of was it free speech or was it just straight up something you shouldn't fucking say?
This kind of comes back down to whereabouts the global world we're talking about, because the rules kind of change when you go across the different planes.
Yeah, we have a Canadian, an Australian, a retard.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Let's make this as simple as possible. So let's say it's a AI generated voice, and it's a voice of this person saying this. It comes down to a couple different questions that you can eliminate out. Is like, okay, 1, where did this come from? 2, how did you come across it? And 3, what was this at? And 4, what's the context for it? Those are usually general questions that you can ask to eliminate it. Because if this person has this voice clip, well, what else is there to it? Is he talking to someone? Where was it at? You know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just generate something with someone saying this one thing, because it comes down to, well, where did it come from? And how did you get a hold of it?
There's also an argument you can make on like the clip being made in question caused the act of violence. With this specific example, it'd be hard to prove. Well, no, this specific example, it'd be hard to prove, you know? Because this one, it's like, you could, like, the person who made the AI saying, like, oh, he cheated on Billy, could be like, I literally just wanted to ruin their marriage. I had no intention on that guy killing the other person. Whereas like you could, if I were to go on Twitter, for example, and say, oh God, I need to think of something I can say without getting your channel in trouble or without being clipped out of context. Hey, it would be really cool if someone went into the local Chuck E. Cheese with a Nerf dart shooter, wink wink, and proceeded to game end all the small people in there, wink wink, in Minecraft, wink wink.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty decent call to action that you should be in trouble for.
Yeah, I think there's a great example in a different direction. I have a person who used to be a friend of mine, no longer the case. This person has been like stalked by a crazy like psycho person, right? Because he got banned off Discord or something. So this guy just went full psycho, unhinged. This man had grabbed screenshots that were completely out of context and sent them to every single major institution in Germany, trying to get this guy cancelled, claiming he's anti-Semitic. This guy is a progressive, mind you. He's left-leaning, and he's being accused of being Semitic. I'd be worried about something of a... Imagine that situation, but you have a faked voice clip of this man saying anti-Semitic things when obviously he wouldn't. What do you even do about that? Even like he doesn't have the money to go to court or anything. I mean,
we've said it anyway. You know, we already have anti laws against that sort of thing. The word escaped my brain for a second. Well, yeah, no, but the process, like I said, it sucks, and the process is definitely harder. But I'm not worried about it being just a thing that's regularly used every day, because it's a very, very easy thing to disprove sometimes with a lot of work.
Yeah, and also another thing too, it's stuff like this hasn't really been tested in law, and I will give that. And lawyers really don't. I believe I know some of the lawyers you've been talking to, Teaman, and you know, they have good points of, you know, it's not been tested, but it kind of, I think it would fall down to the same category as like a faked picture, like example, the bruising picture that Amber Heard had in court, clearly faked. Yeah, that was clearly photoshopped and stuff like that. It would kind of fall down into the same deal, and to me that goes down to who made it, and that person who made it will be held responsible, because again at the end of the day, and a lot of people arguing against AI don't realize it takes a human to generate it. I cannot I can't take my little mouse and go up my mouth, computer, I need you to make a duet with Pippa with this song. I can't do that, and it's not gonna do it by itself. I have to tell it to do it. So
if you guys want to see my AI monstrosities, I can show you how ugly it looks like when you don't know what you're doing.
Again, it comes down to the specialties of prompting, and me just kind of dealing with the actual AI and the prompting in that. I've found out that what I do is considered a prompting engineer. It's kind of weird. It's a new job in industry that's being created because of AI.
Okay. I'll teach me some of that. I'm curious.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it always falls back down to a person. A person made it. A person created it. A person told the computer to make this certain thing. So if it's a like an AI voice recording being sent to someone to entice them to, like, you know, break up the wife, and they end up, you know, doing so. Actually offing off the wife. End of the day, it falls back down to the person who made the clip.
Well, yeah, I do agree. I agree.
Responsibility is going to go to many people. As for you, Tank, I could show you one day once we've finalized the last form of MetaCurbot AI, and I could actually show everybody how I was able to prompt this thing to mimic Medicare.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
because that's basically for me. I'm learning the machine and the equipment because it's a new tool. I'm quite interested in it, and because I've seen these tools being operated in the big screen, and how we get the movie magic. There's a lot of people behind it that make this thing happen. And it's one of those things. I like to teach others on that one. So
yeah, because, like, you know, I guess for me, like, as much as like obviously I hate what the AI kind of become in that regard, but I still have curiosity about it, right? I mean, like, you know, at the end of the day, I'm a whole idea. I love the idea of like looking into it at least.
Well, here's a unique perspective. If you have an idea for, like, you want to make an avatar and you have an idea for it, and you do prompt it into one of these AI generating programs and prompts up artwork. I'm not saying use that artwork for your avatar, but use it as like a template. Use it as a guide to make it yourself. You know, give it ideas.
There's
I think for like other people that Oh, God.
I'm sorry. I actually probably it's been 2 hours. I should probably get going
Yeah.
after I make this one little
Yeah,
argument.
sorry
but
about that.
Sparky,
Yeah,
no,
we'll
no,
do
no,
a
no. You guys are
roundup.
completely fine. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But Sparky brought up something really good. I feel like AI has generative AI has one universally ethical use in my eyes, and that's as inspiration. Artist block is something that prevents artists from being productive. And I think that if you use AI to get ideas, which is something that I am certainly guilty of doing, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem if you want to make if you want to make a VTuber model and you want to, look up potential ideas by putting things into a generative AI program and they pop up some images. You're like, oh, that one's cute, and then you work with it. I don't think I have an issue with that. I think that actually will help the crafts more than it will. It will make them more productive as it will help take artist block out of the equation. With that said, gentlemen, it has been extremely fun. I've had a good time. This was awesome. I should probably go eat food. I am starving, and
man.
I have a leftover burger Wellington to give.
If you
Can you put your Twitter in
Yeah.
private so I can?
I think we can
love
go ahead
to.
and wrap it up because it's been 2 hours. So let's go ahead and do just the closeout stuff, and then we can
Before
all
do
call
that,
it. Yep.
I did want to kind of address something that was said by Ty just before. I had actually used AI as a reference point for some of the sprites I've made.
Yep.
Reference being the key word here. I'm too prideful. So if you look in the general channel, that Teaman, if you could show the general channel, that'd be appreciated. That's a piece of generated art from one of the AI. And this was for a project I was working on, right? Or involved with. And I ended up using that to get inspiration for this right here, this character.
I got it. Share screen.
There we go.
So yeah, that particular piece is what inspired this character here. And I have no problem with that. I think inspiration, it's great for that, Because there's a lot of creative ideas that get inspired just from stuff like this.
No, but again, at the end of the day, it's a tool. We have to treat it as such. Unfortunately, it's if it's a tool for us, the little guy, it's going to be a massive tool for the bigger guy. And unfortunately, when it comes down to dollars and cents, if they have control of their market and they're able to generate and produce their own AI, and they want to do it, we just have to be smart consumers and say yes or no to what we buy into. And unfortunately, with the masses, mostly mouth breathers, this is kind of a pointless argument in some case.
I don't know. I'm still gonna have heavy pushback.
It's fun.
My ending statement would be that I think people underestimate the quote-unquote mouth breathers, right? A little bit. I think, there's a lot of people who do just chew on garbage content, right? And they don't respect the content, but there are a lot of people who are desperately craving for quality content made by quality creators. And they're screaming for it. You look at V every day, bro. People are like, I want a good game. Please give me a good game. Give me a good game that's not shit. And you see it the same with movies. You see it the same with every medium. People screaming for quality. And I think that will win out at the end of the day, in my personal opinion.
I agree, but again, it's dollars and cents.
I think I'm going to start heading out with that one. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Here we go.
Actually, well, real quick. So let's go ahead and do the just general outro stuff. Ty, since you got to go, so feel free to start plugging your stuff.
Yeah. So first things first, let me give a sub over here to Sparky. He's a cool dude.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No worries, homie. No worries, homie. You can find me on 3 primary locations. You can find me on Twitter, which is where I do most of my talking. I post art that I do, food that I make, and spicy media takes that I like having. You can talk to me over on Discord. That one I have to find. I'd rather not give my username out in a completely public setting, so I'll just find you on the server. And the third one is sometimes on YouTube, but only sometimes when I'm not blocked from making videos. I do voice acting and drawing, so if you need either of those, hi, I'm here. Use me.
Keep you in mind.
Yeah.
Hey, I may make AI music covers, but I try to inspire Pippa's audience to give fan art because I want to highlight some of them.
Yes, sir.
Right. Let's go. Let's do clockwise. So, Mr. Sparky, feel free to say your stuff. I'm also posting links in the chat. So, chat, go ahead and look at that. Follow whatever you want.
Okay. You can follow me at Sparky's Tech. I mostly been doing AI stuff. If you want to see how I create them, I do live streams of me making the music, cutting it up, doing AI covers and stuff like that. I try to post out a couple different ones on doing different parts of the day. I just posted one today, Girls Want to Have Fun with Pippa. Go check that out. I think it turned out really good. Along
For
with that,
reasons I won't get into, I hate that song.
it will be an earworm if you listen to it because it does sound like Pippa in this one.
There's certain songs that Sparky does. I'm looking really, and I sit through them as he's trying to fine tune them, and it'd be like 6 hours of the same goddamn song, just repeat.
Yeah.
It's like, God, it's good. Move on.
Yes, yeah. And then me and Rogue co-opt the AI Mr. Medica channel at AI Mr. Medica.
Mr. Medica,
You
yeah,
can
it's
see
gonna
all the stuff
post
we
up
do with
that
him
thing,
over
yeah.
there. And that's about it for me.
All right. TC Rogue.
I am better known as the Canadian Rogue or Roguestar13 on the Twitters. If you want to bug me there, do expect if you do bug me there that I am a well-fed troll on Twitter because I have different identities when it comes down to social media. Because I find it much more fun to LARP as somebody important than actually being who I am in the real world for the most part. So you'll normally find me on Discord or on Twitch playing video games.
All right. And before I do my thing, Tank, I've shared the stuff that you've shared. Do you have anything else to add?
Cool. So I mean, I guess I'm obviously a game developer. I'm actually planning to post a really cool clip of a game I've been working on for Game Jam in the next couple of days. So I hope you come around. But mainly, I specialize in cool art and animation. So if you want to see any of that stuff, yeah, just come along, have a look, enjoy my work.
Right.
Most of it's on Newground.
And then I am, as hopefully you guys know, the Teaman. For various links in the description, you see a link for the Discord. I know everybody's going to always say this about their own Discord, but I do genuinely like my Discord because we don't spug out. We do have occasional fights, but they are... What's the word I'm looking for? People don't start dropping gamer words and whatnot. It's relatively tame and whatnot. We don't do culture war stuff unless you have access to the secret channel, but you have to have been active in the community for a while. And even then, I still keep the rules. There's no hentai, no not safe for work. It's just a place where it's the place I try and design that people always say they want, but for some reason never fucking go to the places they say they want. But that's a rant for another time. You people don't know what you want. Aside from that, I'm also own the Dragon's Treasure, a haven for anime and tea lovers. That's my main source of income. For the love of God, please buy tea, because I need to go to a doctor. But we're not going to get into that right now. Just know that Mr.
Is it a brain doctor? Because this was
no, it's a health doctor. It's
all the brain worms.
It's it's legitimately something that damages my pride. As Tai Sensei knows, I used to be a personal trainer because he used to be a client of mine. And I used to be very fit and do all of the fun little fit stuff and talk about health. And now I am fat and out of shape to the point where it has actually started to affect my health to the point where I am saying that I need to go to a doctor. And if you know my opinion on doctors,
you're fat shaming yourself. Congratulations.
Yeah. It's not just I need to as well.
It's not just fat. It's the general. It's the stress of the business and stress of other stuff.
No, I get it. I make fun of the woke, so it's okay.
Yeah. It's accumulated to the point where whatever's going on with my heart is not something I can handle myself. So if you want me to not die, buy my tea. That should be my my angle.
Oh,
with
so
this,
that's the condition. That's the condition to kill you.
Yeah, if you want me to die, buy my tea.
There's always a condition. There's always
make that into a shot.
Speaking of which, I want to take this stupid thing. I got my back off already. All right.
Hey,
so yeah, I covered Discord.
You definitely need to
the
make that
channel.
into a shot.
Yeah. Twitter, but my Twitter can get a little bit spicy. Not as spicy as it used to. My first account got outright suspended. My second account decided to leave because I was focused a little bit too much on I'm not even gonna fucking do that. anymore.
It's fun. Look, it's Twitter X or whatever that Elon wants to call
Mhm.
it. It's just a cesspool of fun. Just have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's burning. It's burning right now, and it hurts, man.
Obviously, there's the YouTube channel. The three main works I have that's been the biggest thing is my video on Naruto, which got almost 1.8 million views, is closing in on. My Gurren Lagann video, it's 200,000 plus views, and that one's kind of like a magnum opus of things I believe in. I highly recommend that one. And if you have 4 hours to spend, my Epic of Dragon Ball, which is a little over 4 hours, took me about 5 years to finish because obviously things going on in between. But you can watch just my progression of getting better and better at editing and voicing and all this other stuff. That's, I guess, my second magnum opus of things I really love and care about. And I make no money off of it because I think I got up to 50 copyright stuff on it.
No kidding.
So I'm not making anything off of it.
Yeah, I mean that's the
I
beautiful
love
thing. with
Toei.
YouTube.
I love Toei.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Toei.
So that's a passion project of mine, and I'm very happy that I was able to complete it. And I think that covers all of my general shilling stuff. Those who have made it all the way to the end, God bless you, and please buy my tea so I don't die.
Buy my
I-
shirt. Remember,
I-
remember, chat. Buy my shirt. In this case, it's buy my tea.
Bye tea.
It feels so weird because if I ever tried to say that as a joke, I would have no problem. But since it's actually legit, I feel like I shouldn't say it.
No, what you need to do is
Embrace
have like a little
Medica.
advert that goes in just you selling your tea. It'd be funny. Just throw
Yeah.
like one of those comedy ads.
Buy my tea so I don't die. All right. So with all of that said, Mr. Ty needs to go and eat food and clean up.
Yep.
I gotta go and cry myself to sleep. Everybody else probably has things they gotta do as well. So thank you all
Yeah,
for
it's only
joining
5
us.
o'clock for me. Yeah, I've got a life to live.
Yeah. I am happy with how this turned out. It's a lot of good ideas. Nobody really spurred out. But it got me to think about things in different ways, and I hope it's done the same for the people. Because again, the YouTube money is very much secondary. It's the whole thing is just. I'm more on the soul side of things and not on the grimy make money for everything.
You're one of those people. I like that.
Yeah, I am one of those.
Yeah.
People, yes.
I come from the years of the shill, and even I made fun of those people who tried to shill. It's like, dude, stop it.
Well, let me be very clear. There's no money to be made in this soul stuff.
I know, right?
I've kept up for over 8 years of trying to take the moral route, and people don't fucking care.
One day you'll make money off it. Just keep pushing on.
You keep
Yeah.
saying that, but
I'm fine with
I've
that
seen
shit.
people
Okay,
that
you
just
poor and impoverished
flip the
artist.
script and become the soulless
No.
chiller.
Yeah, right now I'm trying to talk myself into just coming up with just sexualized shit on the AI stuff, so I can just
that'd
use
be-
that to.
that would
I'm
definitely give
sorry.
you a golden
I'm
pass.
sorry.
I did
Oh,
one
Lordy.
image of a big titty blonde-haired woman holding a cup of tea, and I said, "Buy my tea." Posted it to Twitter. I got definitely 1, maybe 2 sales in
See?
an hour from just that shit. It's like,
okay,
all you motherfuckers talk about how you want quality and people
Yeah,
care about
I
this
do.
shit.
I do
Fuck
want
you.
quality.
You never buy my
I'll
shit.
fight you. Okay,
Like-
Teaman, just pay somebody to do the same. There you go.
Yeah.
Pay my $5. They'll do it.
All right.
I've
So
got
let's
Just,
go ahead and
just hire an e-girl, dude. Come on, bro. That's all you
Oh,
gotta do to get
no.
exclusive.
Actually,
Oh,
kind of
God.
funny. Even the e-girl are going into the AI portion, so you won't even tell what's real or what's not.
Oh no!
It could be a 400.
I have not seen enough vaginas to know if this is
posing as a
legit.
girl now. Yep.
Is this what a vagina looks like? I don't know anymore.
Oh no!
This-
It's not, I don't
this is what's
understand.
happening.
All right. So we'll leave it on vaginas. Thank you all who have joined us, and we'll see you later. Get well.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
Based. See y'all later.
Ooh.